Paul, I think it was 6 years ago, but you'll have to remind me. When did we meet first time? There was 40 lads in the room, I think, and I was shitting myself. And it was at the hotel in Newcastle.
I was going to say, where were we? Amsterdam or something?
No, it was in the hotel in Newcastle.
Yes.
It was your first proper live event.
Would have been about, aye.
It was the Hilton.
Where, trying to think who was there.
It was the Crown Plaza.
It was. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Brocklehurst might have been there.
Ali.
Webby might have been there. Ali Crooks might have been there. Ali's been on my podcast. Yeah, it would have been maybe 2018. Yeah. 2019, 2018, aye. I haven't run an event like that since then, fully enough, so it must have been something you did.
That wouldn't surprise me.
That's one question you asked, Sarah. Ask Paul how much of a cock I was when I turned up at that event. And I'm sure you can't remember that.
Oh, well, I can't remember, and do you know why? There was a couple of guys who I still work with now, actually. One of them sat in the car park and didn't come in because he was so scared, so you made it past him. And then the other one, this is going to blow your head off this, but I can't believe I'm saying this already. One guy used it as an excuse to have like a night out on his own and ended up with 3 grams of coke and 2 strippers. Wow. Sorry, I say 2 strippers, I mean escorts in his room.
Wow.
There you go.
You didn't turn up with them, did he?
He turned up the next day, funnily enough, but
the strippers.
He didn't bring it. He didn't bring that air, so that was a very interesting experience for me. But I suppose that's kind of where I would say that's right up there with what started me doing what I'm doing, running that event.
Mm.
Yeah.
And how does it look now, Paul? Like from that event, there's men shitting themselves outside.
Yeah.
I stayed in Newcastle the night before.
Yeah.
Because I was shitting myself that much.
Yeah.
I live 30 miles away.
Didn't you stay in our camper van or caravan or something?
I stayed in the hotel opposite.
That's why he told you. He
was the one with the strippers.
So that, and I think the reason a few people were shitting themselves at that event, because I always used to say, like, if you come in late, you're not getting in. Like, if you're late, I'll close the door. And I remember, did one guy turn up pissed and I didn't let him in? Or then he fell asleep or something? I've kicked guys out before. But now, mate, I mean, we're running events that size every other week here. Right. Like, so back then, mate, I had a tiny little office that was half the size of this studio. Now we're in this 2-story building. So it's been quite a change. And in fact, mate, we've had 1,000 people in a fucking theatre, so it's been quite the ride, and I'm just making it up as I go along. No, I don't. Yeah. I have a plan. She's called Leslie. Yeah, but it's been quite the ride, and I feel really, I wouldn't say lucky, but I feel really blessed to have the opportunity to work with as many people as I do now, because it's someone asked me why I do it the other day, and I'm like, I suppose the key reason is I don't want people to feel like I felt, and I don't want other people's families to have to go through what I put mine through. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And on top of that, it's not just that I don't want them to feel that way. I want them to feel like I feel, waking up in the morning with fucking ready to go. Do you know what I mean? Not every morning, but ready. After a cup of coffee and a shite, I'm ready to dance. Do you know, I want people to feel that feeling, because it's not complicated. Feeling like that is not that complicated. Feeling like shit isn't complicated, and feeling great isn't complicated either. We just like to make it complicated. Yeah. So yeah, it's been an emotional one.
And how do you do that, Paul? Because I think, again, I can't remember when you said it, but it must have been at that first thing, and it always stuck with me. But I didn't believe it for about 3 or 4 years. Yeah. You just kept saying, "You are in control of how you feel." Yeah. I'm like, "Oh, all right, Paul." Yeah. Of course. Yeah. And then it just clicked one day. I'm thinking, "Hang on, I can actually change the way I feel." Yeah. And we all do with the drink and, whatever.
You know, Tom, I was the same. So how do you do it? First of all is taking responsibility for it, because that's all it is, really. I'm responsible for the way that I feel, no one else. And I was the same as you. I probably heard that for the first time. I'm talking, mate, 2015, I probably heard that for the first time. And it would have been a combination of the work that I did with Byron Katie and some stuff that Robbins would have said at some point. Robbins is probably the OG of a lot of this stuff. He probably stole it off somebody else, but I remember him saying, like, you don't catch depression. You don't catch it. It's not contagious. Same with anxiety. It's all created. And then I was like, I was triggered by it, because obviously then when I heard it, I just wasn't ready to hear it. I was like, well, no, I've got bipolar. I've got this. I drink because I've got bipolar. I do coke because I've got bipolar. All bullshit, really. But then when you understand how feelings happen, they're the result of a thought normally. So you have a thought, your brain will produce neuropeptides. They send via the spinal cord to the hormonal centers, and the end result is a feeling. So once I started to understand a little bit of that, and I wouldn't call myself a scientist, I'm a fucking practical northern bloke. I'm a very practical northern bloke, right? But you think about it, you mentioned it. When you drink, you don't drink because you want to drink. You drink because you want to feel different. Yeah. It's just, people like to do that because it's convenient, it's easy, and it's cheap, and it requires no effort. The problem is with when you realize you're in control of how you feel, you kind of haven't got that out anymore. You haven't got to like, oh shit, well, if I'm in control of it, then that means I'm in control of feeling good. I'm in control of feeling bad. So I do it by making the decision, first of all, of how I want to feel. We get so obsessed with how we don't want to feel that's exactly what we get. So when people come at me, I'm feeling like this, I won't ask them why they feel like that or anything like that, because again, that would just perpetuate it. I'll go, how do you want to feel? And they can't even answer the fucking question.
I don't know, different.
Not like this. I didn't ask you how you don't want to feel. Ask you how you want to feel, because when you get clear on how you want to feel, you've got a bunch of strategies to feel like that. And I'll do it in a live event a lot. Depends on where it's at and how offended the people get. Depends on whose audience it is what I'm saying, right? But if it's my audience, I'll be like, think of something that pisses you off. Close your eyes and think about somebody that pisses you off. And then very quickly, you'll start to feel pissed off. Mm-hmm. That's how powerful it is. It's a thought. Or I'll say to someone, what are you most excited about this week? And if they can tell me something, they'll start talking, why are you so excited about that? And they'll start feeling excited. That's how simple it is. It's just, so really, how do you do it? It starts with a question, because questions are the steering wheel of the mind. So if I ask a better question, when my brain starts looking for references, because that's what it does, starts to look for references, then I can create a accompanying feeling that goes with it really fast.
What kind of tactics can you put into that? Because we get all the time people that will say that repeatedly, I am sick of feeling like this. Yeah. I go round and round in circles. One day I'm hyper, one day I'm down. I can't get out of bed. I can't get in the car. I can't do this. And it's always, I can't.
Well, I mean, they're right, that old saying. But the reality is, you have a strategy for feeling like shit. Most people just don't know what it is. So when I understood that actually the reason I have anxiety on a Monday is because I've done fucking 3 packets in at the weekend. It's not, I haven't caught the anxiety. It's my body struggling. Like, can you think about it? You feel emotions in your body. Mm-hmm. You feel it. They're created here a lot of the time, but you feel them in your body. Yet people treat their body like a fucking wheelie bin. You know what I'm saying? And then they wonder why they feel like shit. So that's one part of it. But actually, we have a strategy of feeling like shit. We're often just not willing to address what it is. So if you want to feel great, everyone has like a different flavor, I suppose, that makes them feel great. So for me, if I want to feel excited, I just have things in my schedule and things that I plan that make me excited. And they're all around things that I value. So for me, it's always going to be something to do with football, jiu-jitsu, teaching and training, getting on the stage, showing off. Something, not everything with the kids, but some of the stuff with the kids I can get excited about. So that's as simple as it is to create excitement, but it's the same with, if you want to feel sad, think about shit that makes you feel sad. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to feel like that.
Music on.
Do you know what I think one of the biggest challenges is, you guys, right? People that can't get out of bed is because they lack a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And purpose isn't what you are born to do, because I think people get so obsessed with looking for purpose that they miss it. Like, purpose is just a sense of purpose, a feeling. And that feeling is just something to move towards, something that compels you to move towards it. And I think that because I've worked with thousands of people that have been suicidal and rock bottom, and the biggest thing that they're missing is they don't have a vision of their future that compels them to move towards it. Mm-hmm. So what they're left with is the memories of their past and the way that they feel right now, and they can't see beyond that. And I've been there as well, and there's no logic to it. But at that point in my life, listen, from the outside, I had everything. Like, I had a 4-bedroom villa in Spain with a private pool, hot wife, 2 wicked kids, loads of money. I had everything, but I'd given up on goals and targets and a mission because I thought I'd made it. And anyone that I've spoken on my podcast, you're talking Tyson Fury, James Haskell, Ant Middleton, they've got the top of their careers, won things, hit everything they wanted to achieve, and then they're like, is this it? And I think that happens to a lot of men. And I think actually I've worked with probably 400 or 500 women as well. And you get a lot of women, and my wife was the same, where you get this purpose for a bit of raising your kids, and then your kids get to a certain age and they're in school, and you're like, well,
you're an observer,
and you've lost your eye. Yeah. You lose your identity a little bit, don't you? Your identity shifts. Men, we don't have that because we're selfish pricks. Mm-hmm. But like, women feel that as well. Like, well, what's next? And men, a lot of men have that. You think about it, especially in the Northeast. It's like, go to school, maybe go to college, maybe go to university, get a job, meet a lass, get married, have kids.
That's it.
Done. Die. Wait to die. Oh no, 2 weeks in Turkey, yeah. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, pissed. Like that's the most people's thing. So if we're talking about getting in charge of how you want to feel, first you got to decide how you want to feel, and then everyone has a different strategy for feeling like that. So if I want to feel, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Gratitude. If I want to feel appreciative or happier, that's the result. No shit. This is how complex. This is how simple happiness is. Happiness is the result of thinking happy thoughts. The problem, that's all it is. And the problem that most people have is they won't give themselves permission to think happy thoughts until the outside world or their life fits the pictures of what they think it should look like.
Oh, is this the same question that people will say, when this happens? Or,
it's exactly the same. When that happens, then I'll be happy. I'm like,
I get this,
I'll be happy. And then that never, and that was me. That was when I suppose, had dreams when I was maybe 21 and I first went self-employed. I thought it would feel amazing when I got there. And then when I got there, it didn't feel anything like what I thought it would. In fact, it was all a bit disappointing. Yeah. It was all a bit of an anticlimax. Oh, well, I want to do this, and then I want to do 10 grand months, and then I want a 6-figure business, then I want a 7-figure business. And then I was like, it didn't feel any different. It just felt the same. And that's when I realized, actually, maybe there's something more to this. And don't get me wrong, I'm still very passionate, and I'm very, I wouldn't say obsessed, but I'm very passionate about setting goals and going after goals, because I am actually happy in the chase. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes I'm not bothered about the end result. I like the hunt. Mm-hmm. And I think men, we need the hunt. Do you know what I mean? This is going to sound bad, right? But when we were younger and used to try and meet girls and that, right? Sometimes the chase was more exciting than the end result of a ride. At the end, it was just, do you know what I mean? Like just that chase. Like I'm happiest doing that if the goal is something that I really value, something that excites me. And I think a lot of the time we get caught up in thinking goals should mean we'll have to sacrifice everything and feel miserable along the way. So I'm big on this vision of the future. I think if you don't have it, you're fucked. Yeah. And you'll just go around in circles. It's like most people are, they're on a train and they don't know where they're going. They just know that they don't want to be where they're at. Do you know what I mean? Like
you say that all the time with the car analogy, don't you? Like the sat nav.
Sat nav on.
Aye.
Sat nav on.
Where you going? Not here. Yeah. Where do you want to go? Oh, a taxi comes. Where do you want to go? Anywhere but here. Yeah. Well, where? Don't know. Mm-hmm. And then I get asked questions like, how do I do this? I'm like, well, where are you trying to go? Yeah. Like you're asking for me for directions to fucking nowhere. Mm-hmm. I can't give you directions unless you know the destination. Mm-hmm. And so many people are looking for those directions with no destination in mind. So they go around in circles, which I was talking to a guy about this morning actually. Going around in circles, A, you always end up back home, which is where you say you don't want to be. It's because that's where you know. It's because you know it. And B, that's actually as tiring, if not more tiring, than actually just fucking going after what you want.
And doing it in the first place.
And doing it and going after it in the first place. So, yeah, that was a long way to answer that question.
It was, but do you know what? I think quite a lot of that story there really resounds with us because that's exactly where we were when we first came across you. Yeah. And I remember first seeing your video, the video, and sitting there crying, going, "Fuck, this is Tom. Yeah. This is Tom in the exact same position." Yeah. And I showed you, didn't I? I can remember exactly where I sat, what we were doing.
Really?
And I showed him, and he was like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do.
It's mad, that video.
This is coming from a guy that before he met you, didn't even know how to, turn the dishwasher on. Was like, would leave all of the doors open in the kitchen after he'd got himself a cup of coffee and spilled it everywhere and done everything.
And then kicked off.
And then kicked off
because he couldn't find his keys.
Exactly. Yeah.
Aye.
Constantly chasing.
And it's funny that video, Sarah. It's funny that video because, like, it looks amazing and it sounds amazing, but actually the whole thing was me on the beach in the rain, just fucking talking for 20 minutes straight. Like, it wasn't scripted. In fact, I hadn't even planned on doing it. I just had a bit of extra time to do an extra video. And that video, this sounds like a big claim, and I don't like saying it really because I actually don't believe it's true. People tell me it saved their life. I don't know if that's true.
I agree.
I think it might have just woke people up. I didn't change anyone's life. They did. But I think it woke people up. I think it made people realise it's not just them. And I think it's because I can describe the problem better than they can. Mm-hmm. I have some ability, and it's because I've been through it, to describe someone's problem better than they can, and better than anybody else, which I think is why we've had a bit of success here. Mm-hmm. And there was no plan to even do this. When I dropped that video, I wasn't even doing what I'm doing. right? I was in marketing and I was in the supplement business, and I dropped that video, and then so many people came towards me that my coach at the time, Garrett, was like, Paul, you need to be doing this. I'm like, no, I don't, fuck that. Some of these comments on the videos are wild as well. But then I started doing it. People started noticing, and they were like, how have you done this and how have you done that? And then I kind of stumbled into it. And then next thing you know, we're doing all sorts of mad shit.
It's mental, isn't it? How it comes back round again.
It is mental, It is mental. And all I did was speak from my heart. And that was it. Yeah. And then the amount of, there's some random celebrities have seen that video, man. Do you know who's seen it? This is the most random one. So obviously you've got Tyson Fury and that. I've never seen it. Do you know Ian Beale? Ian Beale, Adam Woodyard, seen it. Follows me on Instagram. Isn't that mad?
Really?
Mad that, isn't it?
Do you know what? My science teacher from secondary school.
Hang on, it's not been out that long, that video.
No, listen. It's also part of your programme, which I find really weird. He's been on it. McArdle. Mr. McArdle.
Mr. McArdle.
Mr. McArdle.
Mr. McArdle.
I've seen him commenting.
Mr. McArdle.
Yeah, I've seen him commenting on a load of your stuff, and I'm like, this is a little bit weird. Yeah, he was my science teacher.
That's crazy.
In year 7 and 8.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, one of Nina's teachers always commented on me stuff.
Oh.
So do you know when I lie to them about being sick when I've took them on holiday? I've got to really watch what I'm doing.
How do you do that, right? How does that work with you? Because you do travel a lot.
I travel a lot.
You go all over the place.
Yeah.
How do you get your kids out of school?
I just pay the fine.
Just pay the
fine.
Just do it.
Do you know what, Sarah?
Simple as that.
Do you know what, right? I've tried it. There was one year, it was that Gary V event. They flew to Puerto Rico. I said to the school, listen, my wife's my business partner. She has to come with me.
Yep.
I haven't got anyone to watch the kids. He has the contract. Still didn't give a fuck. So now I'm just like, fuck, I just tell the truth now. I'm taking them here where you can't. Well, I am. I'll pay the fine because my thing is, sure, education to some extent is very important, but I'm also like, the people that they get to meet and the environments that they get to be in. Like, my son fucking loves going to events and watching other speakers. He's 13.
Yeah.
Like, he's met some really cool people and they're in that environment. They see me speak. They see other people speak. They're in that energy. They have to socialise with adults.
Yeah.
Which is, kids socialising, social skills are terrible.
Yeah.
My son struggles with it a little bit, but he's getting way better because I keep putting him in the environment.
That's exactly what we've done with
this. Punishing William when he got detention.
Yeah.
He now comes to a business meeting on a night or anything like that, and he's like, "Oh, I have to come." I said, "Yeah, sit up straight, just listen and take part." He went, "Oh well, this is not a bad punishment," and then he does it and puts him in that environment.
Nina's unbelievable. She's always starting a business.
Yeah, she's got 7-year-olds like that.
Really, she had to quit her business last week though. She started this one. Our latest one was gift cards, personalised gift cards. But she got too busy. She's like, Dad, I really want to do these, but I really want to watch YouTube. I'm like, welcome to fucking business. You can't watch it. Well, I mean, you can watch YouTube and get paid, but you've got to choose. And then she decided to close it down.
Yeah. Well, Theo wants to be a YouTuber.
Oh, really?
So he does these YouTube videos.
Someone told me the other day, I think it was Nina, about kids now, the most popular career choice for kids of a certain age is YouTuber or influencer or something.
Like, where do we?
Which is kind of worrying.
Well, apart from he actually his proper job that he wants to be a paleontologist or an architect.
I mean, that's exciting,
isn't it?
Could actually do that on YouTube. I mean, look at what he's. Who do I love? Have you ever seen? Does he watch Coyote Peterson? This guy's unbelievable, Coyote Peterson, and he's basically built this. He's kind of like, he's not like Attenborough, but he's like that Crocodile Dundee fella, where he basically lets things bite him. And then does videos on it all, or he searches for certain animals. And his YouTube channel's blew up. I think he's on the Discovery Channel or something now. Like, he's blew up.
Wow.
I've got no problem with him going after that. Like,
he was talking about Mr. Beast, about spray painting people's cars. And he said, how do you get away with that when you can't get away with it in this country? That's what he was saying on Saturday. But,
Mr. Beast's a gangster.
Yeah, he has some questions, doesn't he?
So, apart from asking sort of question, if someone has no experience of personal development at all, what would be the first 2 or 3 things to even start? Like, because my memory is terrible and I'm like, I can't remember where we start. I can remember what I'm doing now, but when I was in that place of just denial and being a dick, I don't remember how I changed it. That's just my memory. But, to people that come to you, where do you start?
Well, the first question is, the first thing that I do not do is ask people about their past, because that's counselling, that's therapy. And I'm not labelling them all with the same brush, but obsessing over me past does not fucking change it. We'll have a look at some incidences in your past and maybe try and reframe them and find the hidden gift or find the hidden benefit or the hidden upside or whatever. I think there's some value in that. But constantly talking about it doesn't fucking change it. It just keeps bringing the emotions up again. So I suppose in its most simplest form, Tom, is like where you start with is start on what you want. What you want. And so we look at a couple of different things. And because obviously a lot of the guys that I work with are like kind of like they get to the point where they don't see the point. What's the point? What's the point in any of this? What's the point in life? What's the point in me? What's the point in getting out of bed? So I believe that the point in life is three different things. And these are the three things that we start with now. Experiences, growth, and impact. So I believe the best part of being human, and my life is built on this now, is experiences. When I die, and don't get this twisted, right? Money is important regardless of what anyone says. Money's the thing that often opens up these experiences and these opportunities. Money's sometimes the thing that opens the door for you. Not 100% necessary because connections are as important, but experiences are the best part of being human. When I die, or even at Christmas, when we sit round, I'm like, remember when we did this? Remember when we did that? Dad, remember when we took you there? Do you know what I mean? Like, these experiences are what I'm going to remember. Like, and I will cram my life with those because I'm curious as fuck. I want to see things. I want to experience things. Fuck now, this weekend, I'm missing Mother's Day because me and my son are going on. Me, my dad and my son. I've started involving my dad in all my crazy shit now as well. And he's loving it. Because he's 70 and he's a bit bored. So I just fucking... He's at my house in my sauna now. He sends us a photo every time he's in. Have you ever seen a typical 70-year-old man's Facebook profile picture?
Yeah.
Where they took a selfie like that. Every time he's in his sauna, he sends the picture. And anyway, so my dad, we're flying to Southampton Saturday morning, watching Southampton against Sunderland Saturday morning. Sunday morning, I'm in a podcast in Brighton, and then we're going to Brighton against Nottingham Forest. I value football. I gave up going to football to build me fucking business. I mean, how embarrassing is that? You can't have hobbies when you have business. Bullshit. You can't watch TV. You can't. I'm like, it sounds shit. This now I think about it. You know all the stuff that hustlers say.
Yep.
Or you'll sleep when you're dead and that. I'm like, well, I'll be dead very soon if I keep...
Continue the way I am,
You can't sleep, you can't lie in, there's so many things that tell you can't do, which I've actually found out is utter fucking bullshit. The only sacrifice you have to make is your fucking comfort. That's the only thing you have to sacrifice. So experience is the first one. Where do I want to travel? What do I want to see? Where do I want to eat? Who do I want to meet? What stage do I want to get on? Who do I want to see sing? Who do I want to see? So all of these experiences are what I believe makes it exciting as fuck. That's what you live for, really. That's what businesses fund. Those are just the things that I'm going to remember. And then the second piece of this is growth. Like, I figured out that growth was what life was really about you think about this. In 2014, when I was rock bottom, I'd stopped setting goals and targets and challenging myself. So I didn't have any challenge that inspired me and excited me. And I got challenged anyway.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Different format.
I got challenged that drained me instead of exciting me and inspiring me. So the second thing I'm looking at is, okay, how do I want to grow? What would indicate that I'm growing? Or how do I need to grow to make these experiences happen? Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's asking an uncomfortable question. Sometimes it's like, yeah, mate, I'll come on your podcast if you get us 3 tickets for Brighton against Nottingham Forest. That's what happened on Sunday. The guy, Ben, had to jump through hoops to get these tickets. So sometimes it's about, and the third piece is impact. How do I want to impact the world? There's a weird saying, it's not weird, just my mind takes it as, your life isn't about you, it's about the people you touch along the way. And obviously my mind goes, oh, touching people. Do you know what I mean? Pathetic, really. But it makes a lot of sense that, like, I get a lot of, you think about the people that have had the biggest impact on the world, they're usually the people that have impacted the most people. Yeah. Like, I think, and I learned this on a deep level in 2021, my friend died of a heart attack, same age as me, kids the same age as mine. His son was in Nina's class at school and that, like, it broke me fucking heart. And he was always, when I seen him, the best part of my day. And he fucking hell, you think I got over this by now?
Was he your hairdresser?
Me barber.
Yeah, your hairdresser. I remember this.
It killed us. And he just had the ability to, he gave me the insight that everyone you meet, you leave like an imprint on them. Yeah. So you can either leave a positive one or a negative one and they remember it. So that really hit me hard. And now I just kind of go out my way to make people feel good and have an impact on them. So if I look at how I want to impact the world, then that's exciting as well. Because when you're depressed and when you're not developing and when you're low and when you're struggling, guess who the only person you're thinking about is? Yourself. Depression is a very insular feeling. You're thinking about all the things that are wrong with you, all of the people that have wronged you, all the things you wish hadn't happened to you. You think that everything's happened to you for a start. You think about all the things that you could have done better, all the things that you shit at. Like it's all you. Anxiety is the same feeling. You think everyone's looking at you. It's going to go wrong for you. It's me that can't do that. I've got to it's all self. So actually one of the fastest ways to get out of all of that is to actually become more divergent, to actually become more, your focus to be more broad and more about other people, which is really hard when you're low because you isolate yourself. So yeah, the way you want to start is on those three things. What experiences do I want to have? How do I want to impact the world? That could just be something like we've got a printout somewhere in the office that says how I want to impact the world. It's write a book, it's build a YouTube channel, funnily enough. It's make everyone feel welcome at every event, which is hard when you're speaking at a big event. It's give people nicknames, like Jenny from the block got one today. Tommy Cocker's got one. Sarah, you haven't got one yet, actually.
Do you know what mine is?
What was it?
Sarah Super Cockerel.
Super Sarah Cockerel.
That's exactly it.
So like just things like that. Like people remember it. And then the growth part is just like, right, if I don't challenge myself, and I think the big thing for me is I'm curious. People are like, why did you stop drinking for a year? I'm like, I just wanted to see if I could. Why are you doing Everest Base Camp? I want to see if I can. I'm curious about what happens. I'm curious about how I react to it. Why do you want to build this? I just want to see if I can sometimes. So curiosity is actually quite powerful because people talk about confidence and courage. I'm like, what if it just started with a bit of curiosity? I want to see whether I can or not. And then it's not that serious.
What's the wildest thing that you've ever experienced? No, keep it clean.
Do you mean challenges that I've done?
Yeah.
Ooh, fucking hell. Oof. I did the David Goggins 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours with no training and a 16 kilo kettlebell in my bag and fucked both my feet up. What else have I done? And a torn pec I had as well, actually. I had surgery the day after I finished it.
Wow.
Also,
when you tore your pecs, were they both two different ones? Both of them now.
This one I tore the muscle away from the tendon. This one I tore the tendon off the bone. That one, check this one. I had surgery, right? I got out at 8 o'clock on the Thursday night, and at 8 o'clock on this Friday morning, I had to run an event.
Oh, yes.
I was off my face. I had morphine and Monster.
What was that?
It was a massive action day. It was at the end of a 90-day program. So I turned up the next day.
That was a big walk, wasn't it? You were doing a big walk.
Oh no, that's a different one. That was a different one. That was the one. That would have been either the fan dance.
Fan dance. That's what I was thinking.
Maybe the one with the Through Dog boys in pool.
Yeah.
But this one, I said to my wife on the night time, I said, did that go well? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, I can't remember anything that I said for the first half of the day. She said, oh, you are hilarious. I was like, I had no filter, I could tell. Because I don't have much of a filter anyway, but this one was gone. So, I mean, fucking hell, what else have I done? I've jumped out of a plane in Dubai. I've had fights. I've done quite a lot of mad shit, like. I love all that, you know what I mean? I've got on the stage in front of 1,000 people. I've gone completely naked with just a pair of budgie smugglers on in front of 2,000 people in Belfast. I've been in jail and done talks. Just 2 last year I did, actually. I've got another one that was coming up. Yeah, I've done a lot of mad things. Yeah.
You did Via Ferrata as well.
I did. Oh, we're doing it again in May. I've got the kids. I've got the kids lined up for Via Ferrata.
I won't let them.
Will you not?
Oh, that's because I'm shit scared of it myself.
Oh,
I tried it myself, and
strapped in, man.
Well, I'm fine with heights, roller coasters, anything like that. Going backwards down that ladder.
Oh, really? See, I didn't mind it, me, like.
Absolutely.
But do you know what's weird? Me view on heights changed when I jumped out of a plane in Peterlee.
Yeah, that might do it.
Because I was like, do you know what's weird about Sky? I love the one in Dubai as well. But when you jump out of a plane, it's so high that it doesn't feel high.
See,
you're jumping into Google Maps. That's what it's like. It's so high, your brain's like, oh, it's not even high, this. Do you know what I mean? It's weird. And because I had the fear of flying and the phobia of flying, jumping out of a plane is like all my wildest dreams coming true. Because there's loads of times I wish I could have jumped out of a plane. Let me off. Yeah. I've done a lot of mad things, but I love those challenges because I don't take them too seriously, you know. That's why I say I do them without training, because I'm like, I'll overthink it if I do all the training. So if I just show up, I think once you've done a couple, your mind's like, you can take your mind somewhere else and your body will just keep going. So, but I also like that because the amount of confidence and self-belief you get from doing hard things is unbelievable. Like, there's so many people that I talk to are like, well, I just need to believe in myself. I'm like, well, how do you expect to believe in yourself? You never do anything hard.
Doing it.
Do you know what I mean? You don't get the self-belief before. You get it after. The same with confidence. Why would you have confidence when you keep avoiding the hard shit? You have to do it without confidence. You have to do it with self-doubt. So my kids will just do it. Just, you're scared, so fuck, do it anyway. Do you know what I mean? Do it scared. Or don't do it scared. But either way, the courage is not going to show up on its own. You know what I mean? This is why I like this idea of just being curious. Just be curious.
Paul, you've obviously ran marketing companies.
Yeah.
I think, like, what are your tactics with anyone in business? What's essential to market yourself really well?
Ooh, great question. I think the first thing is you got to go where the people are. You got to go where the people are. There's so many people, oh, I don't like social media. Tough shit. Your clients do. You know what I mean? The two. You know, oh, well, I'm B2B. What? Well, you're still selling to people. Guess where people are? Social media, dickhead. So whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. Do you want to get paid or do you not? You don't have to like social media. You can get someone else to run it. You can pay to play, whatever. But you have to go where the people are. The second thing is paying to play is essential. Like if you don't want to spend loads of time on social media, pay so that you don't have to. Have ads running for you 24/7. And I think the third part is this concept, and I talked about it in the video, where you have to be able to explain the problem better than they can. Because if we think about marketing and money will flow and be magnetized towards the perception of value. So we spend money on things that we value. In other words, we spend money on things that we think will solve a problem or give us pleasure. That's where all our money goes. So I'm like, if I can be the person that people believe can solve their problems, then they'll give me money. Yeah, that's all it is. So what I talk about a lot, and the things that have the biggest impact on people, is I talk about the problem. I don't talk about living, laughing, and loving. You know this. I talk about drinking, sniffing, and wanging. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking about all that. And I do talk about the positive shit, obviously, because that's who I am. But actually, people are obsessed with their symptoms. So I talk about symptoms all of the time. It's part of the reason why I love to share those. What's working for us really well at the minute is sharing all the horrible comments that I get.
We've talked about this on the way up.
Honestly, I love it. I've got so many, I'm just getting started.
What was the
people like, how'd you get? Which one?
There was one that he did.
Oh, shitbags like me are the reason people don't read the Bible. I'm like,
what was
wow.
your response to that?
I just said that. What a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy. Fucking hell. I'm some boy,
And then one that was called you a helmet.
Helmet, no thank you. I got another banger. I've got so many bangers coming. One guy, you're thick as fuck, but he spelled your Y-O-U-R. Some of them are amazing. In fact, the other week, I spoke at an event in Durham, my friend's event, and he was like, Paul, there's so many speakers and you've only got 17 minutes. And I'm thinking, what, 17 minutes? It was a favour, that's why I did it. And I ended up taking 19 anyway, but it was his fault because he said there's no slides. And I'm like, mate, I've got 5 minutes where I need slides because I share all the comments. And he went, well, I'll read them out. It was fucking amazing because he put a different accent on for each one. But it's like, I share that because I think a lot of people that I'm working with, business owners, they're scared of doing the work because they're going to get criticised. There's things that they're not doing because they're worried about what people will think or what people will say. So I share it just to show that actually it's not that bad. Someone calling your name is not that bad. It's not the worst thing. I'm like, and I say to all the guys, I'm like, listen, there's nothing someone can say about you that you haven't already thought about yourself.
Great.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's nothing you can think about. There's nothing you can think about me that's worse than what I've thought about myself.
Why,
do you know what I mean?
Why do you think that people take to places like social media and just shit on everybody else?
Makes them feel better. Or they think it's going to. It's a lot of the time, I'll question them on it. Sometimes I'll DM them. If it's something that I don't, I'm fine with all of it. But if someone says shit like, you should have killed yourself, that's a problem for me. Yeah. I'm like, no, mate, that's not okay. So I'll then go and I'll DM them and I'll be like, are you okay? And they can't even remember seeing the post. They can't even remember typing it. A lot of them. They feel like shit. They see something that triggers them and gets them emotional, so they comment on it. I got a one that wrote wanker in capitals this morning. I'll share that one tomorrow. Yeah. I didn't know whether it was an offer or... Yeah, but I get them all the time, and I just think, from a marketing point of view, that's me showing people that actually you're going to get criticism. And for me, the bigger you get, the more successful you get, the more your profile is going to grow, the more you're going to get that shit. So I'm like, well, actually, that's the cost of entry to being successful. So I think from a marketing point of view, you've got to go where they are. You've got to pay to play if you're really serious about it. And the last one is you've got to be able to talk about symptoms to show that you're the solution. So if someone sees that I can talk about their problem better than they can, they're like, he gets it. And then that demonstrates that I can add value to their life. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what your business is. Your business solves a problem. And if it solves a big enough problem, it's actually about communicating that you can solve the problem, really. What else would I throw in on that marketing one? You'll had this before. I was talking to someone about this morning when people are like, oh, Paul, I'm getting loads of leads, but they're all low quality. Do you get that? Yeah. All low quality leads. I'm like, what you're trying to get is high quality leads for cheap. That doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist, no.
So do you want cheap leads or do you want high quality leads? Because you can't have both. It's like saying, well, Paul, I want your best program, but it also has to be the cheapest one. Don't make sense, does it? No. So I think from a marketing point of view as well, this is a bit more high level. You have to know your numbers. If you don't know the numbers, you're fucking guessing. Mm-hmm. If you're not assessing, you're guessing. So when people, Paul, I'm not getting any leads, I'm like, well, show me the numbers. And they can't. They can't show me the numbers. There's a lot of guys who are like, Paul, I haven't made any sales this month. I'll be like, all right, don't tell me anything else. I'll go on the social media profile. I'm like, you haven't made a fucking offer? Yeah. You haven't made an offer? Mm-hmm. They're scared to talk about their business. They're scared to make the offer. And I'm like, there's only one reason you're scared to make the offer, because you don't fucking believe in the offer. Mm-hmm. You don't believe in it. If you believe in your offer, you're a 9 out of 10. You don't have to be that good at selling, because your enthusiasm fucking flies. I get random people joining me program because I've spent 10 minutes with them. The guy that fit me sauna at home joined me program. The guy that fit the ice bath joined me program. I didn't even ask them to.
The gas man came round.
It happens all the time. I've got a guy speaking at me event, right? He's called Javino, right? You'll have seen him online. He's the black guy that trains all the disabled people. Have you seen him?
Yeah.
He's speaking at our event next month. He'll join the program. Mm-hmm. I said to them, watch, I bet you'll be around the energy. Russell Kane, his wife joined like that because he came to speak at me event. Obviously, he didn't join because he's a fucking celebrity, right? But his wife joined the same day. Because he must have been like, you have to be in this thing. Mm-hmm. So if you believe in it, you get obsessed with it and you can't stop talking about it. Mm-hmm. So that's a big thing. How can I increase the belief in my product? Because then you're like, well, if someone says no, it's their loss.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And that comes back to the same saying, where energy goes, energy flows.
It does, yeah.
And it's with anything. It's even going back to that same discussion we were having before, that if you put your energy into the stuff that you love, that's purposeful.
It comes across.
You can see it.
Yeah, you get obsessed with it. You can't stop talking about it. People get sick of you talking about it. You don't. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be good at selling. Mm-hmm. You can take criticism. People can talk shit about it. It doesn't matter what your fears are. If you are 9 out of 10 in belief, you don't even have to be good at selling, because people are just like, I'm almost like, if you want this kind of energy, I'll show you. I'll show you how to do it. It's easy. And it's not, this is on the average 6 hours sleep. You know what I mean?
I suppose that's what we get in our industry. They believe that is the only revenue they could generate.
Yes.
So we get, what is the going rate for this?
Oh, I hate that.
And it's so it's like, what's the going rate to work with Paul? Well, where have we got this rate from? Who's the rate man?
The going rate in the trades is a big one, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll look at the going rate and then I'll charge a little bit less than everyone else. That's what people do, right? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Don't make any sense.
And they come out, I want to win this job, but I don't want to be ripping the customer off.
I want to be known as reassuringly expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to be ridiculously expensive. I've got a problem actually in that I know that my program compared to a lot of other people's is cheap for what you get, but I love a big group. Yeah. Like I could do, you think about my game, you've got this high ticket model. Everyone talks about high ticket. I could do high ticket, but I'd have less people, which A means I'm helping less people, but B means I can't have 200 people in a room. And I am fucking in my element with 200 people laughing at me jokes, taking the piss out, and then the banter, the energy in the room. And I'd rather do that and make less money than have a small group and just a little bit more serious, you know what I mean?
But then doesn't it come back to impact as well?
Totally comes back to impact.
Because,
I hate a Zoom with 5 people on it. It's fucking horrific.
Yeah.
I just don't vibe on it. I vibe on fucking 50 people on Zoom with them every week. I'm like, have you sent a text to remind people that there's a Zoom today? All the time. Get people on Zoom. And if I'm on and there's only 20 people, I'm like, send another text. I need people on this Zoom. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a performer. That's what I like to do. And I didn't even realize that until a couple of years ago, where I'm like, actually performing and being the center of attention is one of my highest values. And I didn't know that. And I thought it was a bad thing, right? Being the center of attention is a bad thing. And then I was like, well, actually, this is where I do my best work. When I'm on a stage with loads of people, that's where I can speak from the heart. That's where I can do what I do best. That's where I can impact the most people. I don't know how I've ended up here, but it's great.
Paul, it's 2:30. If you had to spend £1,000 by 5 o'clock, what would you spend it on?
Funny that. I'll spend on the deposit to join my program. What would I spend £1,000 on?
Yeah, it's all going to be gone by 5.
Right, and it's all going to be gone by 5. All right, well, I'd probably get... I looked at this. When did I look at this? Oh, I'd get my son a ticket for Tottenham against Arsenal at the end of April because I'm going with my friend Richard. You know Richard Crowe?
Yeah.
I'm going with Richard and he can only get 2 tickets and my son's fuming. So that's probably what I do. That's at the front of my mind. You thought I was going to say something like an investment or something, isn't here? Oh, I'd invest in this. That on the top. That's the first thing that came off. So obviously that's the most important. Then I'd probably spend £1,000 bribing Leslie to let me and Max go to the UFC in Saudi Arabia in June, maybe, as well. Yeah.
Does she need a bribe for that?
Probably because we'll go to a lot of things, you know.
Okay.
We'll go to a lot of things. We'll go to the Champions League final in June as well. Like, we'll go to a lot of things.
Why don't she go with you?
She just has to bring Nina. Nina will complain the whole fucking time. That's a great question. I've never been asked that before. Now I'm thinking of all the other things that I would spend money on.
3 people you would like to have a pint with tonight, dead or alive.
It's got to be a pint of Heineken Zero, maybe.
Yeah.
Pint of blackcurrant and soda. I'd piss myself.
An orange
full
juice.
pint, actually. Who would it be, dead or alive? I tell you, number 1 would be Gordon Ramsay. I love that guy. I'm actually friends with one of his business partners, which is fucking cool. Gordon Ramsay, possibly Conor McGregor, Tony Robbins.
That's a good table.
Yeah, that's a good table. Maybe not Conor.
I was going to say,
Sometimes I think he's a prick. Sometimes I think he's a bit of a
prick.
prick, but then sometimes I'm like, this guy's a fucking genius. I think it kind of goes. Maybe the top G as well. Maybe Andrew Tate. Not that I like him. I'd just like to have a conversation with him. Maybe.
I'd love to see that.
Oh, you've got me thinking these. Don't limit me to numbers, right? Don't limit me to numbers. Ramsey's definitely in. Big Tony Robbins is definitely in. The second one would be some kind of something from the sports world. I think
We did Gordon Ramsay's house 8 years ago.
No, really?
Yeah.
Which one? He's probably got about 16.
Wandsworth.
Oh, Wandsworth. I've seen it.
Have you?
Yeah.
So my friend Darren, you know Darren Cartel?
Yeah.
So my friend Darren lives in Wandsworth. And when I go to see him, we spend a lot of time walking in that, right? And he said that's Gordon Ramsay's house. And guess what? I didn't believe him. Thought he was bullshitting. There we go. That's mad.
So we were doing his floor and he come up with his entourage with 3 Range Rovers. And he went round 45 minutes with his whole team, left his team on the other side of the road, crossed the road and shook everyone's hand and just went, fucking excellent job, and just disappeared.
No way.
But yeah, just...
My
that's
friend
the
Matt
only
said
thing-
that his life is just fucking chaos. Like, it's organised chaos. But he said his life is mental.
Well-
and everything's 10 minutes this,
Over
20
Vegas.
minutes this.
You've been to Vegas recently?
I went to Vegas last summer.
Right, well, we've just been in January and Gordon Ramsay was
He's took over.
absolutely everywhere.
Oh, you
Gordon-
seen him?
Yeah.
No, like I was in restaurants everywhere.
Restaurants. So it was like Gordon Ramsay this, Gordon Ramsay seems
Been to Hell's Kitchen there.
Yeah.
Been to Hell's Kitchen there, aye. And I think there's one in Dubai as well, a Hell's Kitchen.
Well,
Maybe.
there was a Gordon
corner.
Ramsay fish and chip shop.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the phone box.
I bet it's shite. I love do you know what? My kids last year went to Vegas, LA, New York, and they like Vegas the best. Kids.
Really?
There's so much to do there, isn't there? And it's 24/7 and it's fast paced. And honestly, they were like, Dad, we love Vegas. Isn't that weird?
Isn't it? I would never think of taking my kid.
They had well, we didn't, but they had. This is typical of my kids are the opposite of each other. Same as me, Leslie, very opposite. And she we said, where do you want to go? We're going to go to America. Obviously, one chose New York, the other one chose LA. Opposite sides of the fucking country.
Yeah.
So we'll do Vegas. And there was actually boxing on that we wanted to go and see, but they moved it like the week before.
Oh.
So we didn't end up going. But Vegas was good roller coasters there. There's a lot of cool shit. There's a lot of cool shit if you look for the kids to do. It's fun.
Don't think we'll be going back in a... Well, it was all right for what we went for.
I'd like to go to a UFC there, definitely. Like, I'd love to go to a big UFC event in Vegas. Like, I think it'd be unbelievable.
But the builders knew they're knocking the
Tropicana.
cockpit down.
Oh, there. Have you seen that big dome that they're building?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's it looked really good, didn't it?
It looked. I couldn't stop. The kids were like, Dad, it's not even that good. We went to the Stratosphere for dinner.
Yeah.
And well, look, we did here.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I proposed to Leslie there.
Did you?
A long time ago, I don't even think I had fucking cameras there when I did that. But we went and I was just like, look at that. They're like, Dad, we'll get it, man. We'll get it. I'm getting to that age now. I mean, kids are getting to that age where they're like, Dad, stop going on about it. They're like, Dad, why'd you love going to old towns? You know, when you're on a holiday.
Yeah.
I realised that there's 2 things I realised recently that mean I'm getting a bit older. I love an old town day trip, right? I can't believe I'm saying this. And then I love a fucking sunset as well. My kids lose that. Dad, why are you? It's just the sun going down. Dad, you saw it last night. I know, but Dad, it's just the sun. Take a photo of it. We were away last week. Me, Nina, and Leslie were away. They were skiing, and there was a sunset, and Nina was losing that. I'm not coming. Dad, I'm not coming. I'm staying in the room. It's just a sunset. I'm like, I know, but we're not going to have many left. She's like, what? Yeah. I'm not as old as you, you know. Aye. Sunsets in old towns, that's the new thing. Aye. There we go.
So, Paul, what's next? You've filled stadiums. You've done.
I'll fill a stadium, I think. I'd love to do that.
Is that on the cards? Is that in the plan?
The next plan is I've finished the book. The next book.
Yeah.
It's called Unfuckwithable. But the publishers won't touch the name. I think we can't call it Unfuckwithable. They're like, well, like the name, but when you look at it, because obviously when you're working with publishers, they have a team, they have a bunch of people who read the book, because I wrote the book before I got the deal, because I wanted to be in a stronger position. And they're like, when we look at the title, some people think it says unfuckable, and no one wants to be unfuckable. So that's actually a true story. So the next phase is, we'll probably do the deal this week, actually, is we've had a couple of offers from publishers. I want to get that book deal done. But the reason I wrote the book first is because the book has to go in WH Smith. Oh, I'm not interested. I don't care if you don't pay me.
Is that going to be a moment when you can walk into WH Smith and go, there's my face?
Yes. Or more. It's actually me kids to go, there's me dad.
There's my dad.
Because they always take the piss. Oh, Dad, there's James. Oh, Dad, look, there's Ollie. Like, they're always like, oh, Dad, there's so-and-so. Like, when you're going to be on, aye. So I've been writing this book for about 2 years, and it was a lot of work. But the deal is with the publishers that I'm like, listen, you need a guarantee that it's going to be on the shelves, because my last book was audio only, because I don't have a big following. So in personal development, sadly, publishers now are looking at your following because it's guaranteed sales. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you're not a doctor and you're not a celebrity, it's very difficult to get a publishing deal as a personal development guy. So they're looking at that, but I don't need a fee. I don't even need royalties. Hopefully you don't drop this for a few months. Right, let's edit that part out. I don't need the royalties, and I don't need them to pay me. I just need them to take a big enough risk to do a print run to get me in the things. And then from there, who knows? I think we'll probably do a UK tour this year. And that's the business-wise, that's about it. Other things, obviously I'm trying to raise me kids to make their own decisions and set a good example for them. We've got Everest Base Camp. I'm probably going to have a Misfits boxing fight this year as well. I got offered one last year, but it was like the month I had surgery. Paul would love you. Would you have a boxing match on a small Misfits show? I'm like, aye. So I'm probably going to start calling celebrities out for a fight. We'll see.
Who's the top of the list?
Well, I became mates with Dapper Laughs recently.
Right.
So maybe Dapper, if you fucking want some. No, it's not that. He just had one. But I don't know, actually. I thought about me mate Aaron from Geordie Shore, but he's hard as fuck, so I'm not. I'm looking at him, I was like, no, I'm not fighting Aaron. We'll see. We'll see. Anyone that wants it.
Any listeners fancy a scrap?
Let's go. Let's go.
Why don't you just do it?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know if I put it out that I'm looking for an opponent, there'll be fucking people queuing up to punch me in the face.
Funny, I can't remember who I said it to. But I said to someone on the phone the other day, and I didn't obviously name drop, but I said one of the best things I've ever done is being punched in the face because Paul made me do it.
Oh, shit. Yes. Really? Who punched you in the face?
It was on Unleashed.
Who was it?
Can
you remember all of them?
We
were just talking about that event the other day. Leslie's like, why don't you do another one of them? I'm like, we've got too many people. I wouldn't be able to do it. So we're actually in September. I think they've just signed the contract today, actually. We're doing an event in Cheshire where we've hired this fucking massive farm, and it's going to be a festival. So we're going to have Brass Monkey's ice bath there. We're going to be doing yoga. And they're like, do you want to do a boxing fitness session? I'm like, we can skip the fitness part. How about we just make people fight?
That would be awesome.
So we're trying to make that work. But fucking hell, man. How did I get away with that? How did I get away with that?
Mouth guards.
Mouthpieces, My kids have just got their first gum shields this weekend. Max is boxing and playing rugby, and Nina's captain of the hockey team.
Well, you said that was out of anything, like, that would be one of the things that you've got to do.
Why
have a fight?
I got such a mind shift for that. I mean, I know I did, and I don't remember shitting myself, and I haven't been in a boxing ring since. But why do you think, it affected me so much? And why did you make me do it?
So the main reason I did it is because when I did it, I had the same experience. Garrett, back in 2014, I had to fight a guy on a beach that I'd never met in America, which is a big comfort shift, right? And he said it's because when you get men in particular in a room who are self-employed men who are all doing all right, there's a bit of dick swinging. I've got a bigger dick than yours. They like to brag a little bit, so they never kind of let their guard down. But you make them get in a ring, and you see it in UFC and boxing. Guys fucking slate each other, hate each other. They've had a fight with each other, and then they're best mates. So it brings a lot of men's guards down. And actually, I think one of the biggest insights you get from boxing is that thinking about getting punched in the face is way worse than actually getting punched in the face. So you can put that into the thing we're talking about with the criticism. People worry about getting criticised, and then they get someone call them a wank or something, and you're like, it's not that bad. No. It's not that bad. And I've had that realisation. I didn't go on a roller coaster until I was 42. Never been on a roller coaster until I was 42. I'd never been on a water slide until I was 38 because I thought I was scared of them. And then I went on them and I was like, I have been missing out on this mad adrenaline shit.
What was that first roller coaster you went on?
The Hulk in Orlando.
That was your first
My first one.
Wow.
I was unbelievable. I absolutely I went on like 4 times in 20 minutes. Then we did that new Velociraptor one, which was terrifying. That one, here's why I knew it was scary, because my son, who's fearless when it comes to roller coasters, like, Dad, will you hold me hand? And he was fucking 12 or something, like, so I'm like, I will. And I was buzzing. But also there was a guy there who had a prosthetic leg. And the woman said, you're going to have to take that off. And he's like, what for? She said, because the roller coaster's so fast that it'll come off.
It'll pull it off.
Check this one out. Last year, went to the UFC in Abu Dhabi in October, and in Abu Dhabi they have Ferrari World, but they also have the world's fastest roller coaster. It was fucking horrific. I was ill. It's that fast, you have to wear goggles.
Really?
So your eyeballs
is it one where you don't, one that you can't breathe either? Is the one that you can't breathe?
I think it must be. I was sweating, like really sweating, and I was like, how am I fucking sweating so much? But the adrenaline was, and then I've got the world's highest loop, which was also horrendous. So those two are awful. But honestly, that feeling of that whole insight of getting punched in the face actually isn't that bad. Yeah. And then I also realised when I got punched in the face that I can't fucking fight. You know what I mean? The amount of men who think they can fight is fucking embarrassing. Then I was like, shit, I actually can't fight at all. Yeah, I talk a good fucking game.
Can't fight your way out of a paper bag.
Nah. And so many men think they can. And again, that led me, I suppose that boxing thing also just led me down a path of finding these combat sports and me finding fitness that I don't hate doing. Do you know what I mean? I think that's finding exercise that I don't fucking hate, and you meet so many cool people, and it makes fitness kind of fun, I suppose, if you like getting punched in the face. I learned that the secret is to not block punches with your face. That's one of the secrets, But I haven't boxed. Holy shit, mate. I went back in May last year for like a week because I fell out of love with jiu-jitsu a little bit, and I went back and I was like, actually, I found it a bit, it's weird I found it a bit boring compared to jiu-jitsu. Like, there's only so many things you can do. But my son's into it, and it's so good for, I think it's rugby especially as well. Like, it's for teenage boys. I think having that outlet is massive. And I tried for a long time to get him off his fucking Xbox and his PlayStation. And I tried to get him into things that I liked, and he just wasn't interested. So I kept pushing him, and then he hated it. And then he's just found his thing with rugby and boxing, loves it.
Loves exactly the same.
Really. And when I see him playing rugby, I'm like, Jesus Christ, rugby is for hard bastards, by the way. He's covered in stud marks all over his body all the time. But honestly, it's his confidence has came on a fucking treat since he started playing them sports. Like,
that's how I said, Willie, my son, best thing you could do is, even if he doesn't enjoy it, just go get in a boxing ring for half an hour, well, not half an hour, but a couple of rounds. And even if he doesn't want to go back in, if he does,
it's a game changer. I remember the first time, so Max had been having privates with one of my friends on the pads and doing a bit of sparring with him for years. And Davey was on holiday or something, so I said, I'll take you to my friend's boxing club, the one where you box, actually, Chris's gym.
Yeah.
And he went in, and Chris was like, oh, who wants to spar? Max was like, I'll spar, because he sparred me, mate, and no one else. And the ring was fucked. So the ring was knackered. So Chris was like, oh, well, what we're going to do is you're going to put your foot in the middle of that tyre. And he's going to put his foot in the middle of the tyre, and you're going to spar in a tyre.
That's what you made me do.
Did I? Because you can't because you can't avoid the conflict then.
No, that's it.
And the first shot that got thrown, Max took one straight on the end of his nose. Like, I don't even think he'd been punched in the face before. Took one on the end of his nose, eyes watering. He looked over at his bright red, and I was like, fuck this. He's going to hate it now. And then he just got stuck in it. Loved it. I was buzzing. But it's just, I think combat sports and physical contact sports, and I think actually grown men as well, huge. Huge. It's like for some reason we just give up on it because we get old and get worried about getting injured. Well, when you hear my track record, I'm not surprised. I've got a torn hamstring now, you know. So I tore my hamstring last Sunday, so I've got Everest in 4 weeks. So I'm having to do all this bullshit at the minute. Tore me hamstring playing paddle. You seen that?
Yeah.
Tore me hamstring. Leslie was like, I thought paddle was the sport where it was low impact and it's for older people, and you've came home with a torn hamstring. I'm like, it's what happens when you don't warm up, isn't it?
Exactly. Penultimate question, Paul.
Yes.
If there is one thing, what is currently holding you back?
Diet is a problem for me right now. I couldn't give a fuck about it.
I was going to say, haven't you had a problem with diet for about 2 years?
Forever. Do you know the only time I'm bothered about dieting is because I'm not out of shape. The only time I don't have a problem with dieting is if there's a jiu-jitsu competition or a boxing match. The rest of the time I'm okay. But the second thing that's holding me back is probably my inability or my inexperience of leading a sales team. That'll be it. So I've been in charge of the sales forever. And now we have a team, and I've never managed a sales team before, and they're very different to me. So I'm struggling. We just had calls this morning. So what's holding me back is my inexperience of managing a sales team.
Didn't we just have that same conversation?
Did he really?
We've just had exactly the same thing because it's only ever been us.
Yeah.
And with us expanding our team, it's very difficult to go, okay, we've got to let go because we know it's for the best.
Yes.
But how am I going to do this? Because
then I'm getting all these fucking leads. You're not closing them. Why are you not closing them? And people are like, people are signing up for things that they didn't think they'd signed up for.
Yeah.
And there's so much out of me control. I mean, obviously, I have a fairly decent sized team. I mean, we've got 4 in today. We've got 4 that aren't in. So that's a fairly big team. Some of them are remote all of the time.
Yeah.
Some of them are commission only. Some of them aren't. You kind of don't know what's happening a little bit. And then they say you're supposed to listen back to sales calls. I'm like, I haven't got time for that, and I don't want to do it. So then
because you'd be like,
it's just so that's probably the biggest thing that's holding me back. But we've made a lot of progress on it, considering, like I say, until towards the end of last year, we've never had a sales team. I've done all the selling. We've never even to think about what we've built without having a sales team is kind of fucking wild if you think about it. Like people are like, you've made how much, and you've never done sales calls, none at all. You what? So, but it's actually a bit. We're just going through a bit of this gestational period, but I suppose it's that bit of discomfort that you've got before you get to the next level. Like I think in life you have it's like if I see, I've said curious quite a lot, but I think quite a lot of it's like a game, especially business, just a game in it really. At each level there's a fucking boss, and this is where I'm at right now. I can't get that next level until I beat this boss, and it's the most difficult boss we've had for a while.
What is the next level?
5 million quid. I want 500 people in my Alliance program. Right now we're at about 210, I think. Wow. I want 500. It's more about that than the money, to be fair. Like, but I want 500 people. I want it to be. That's the number that would feel like. I hate saying this. I'd love a better way to say it, but the word movement. I feel. Do you know what I mean? I want it. 500 would feel like I'm creating a bit of a movement, because I honestly believe that when you can help a man change. And I work with women as well, but I've worked with more men, and I always have done. But when you can help a man change, it impacts like his whole fucking family. Do you know what I mean? And when it impacts his fucking family, who knows where it goes beyond that? It can be like a butterfly effect. So 500 is the number where I can really, really feel like I'm making a difference. Maybe when I get to 500, it'll not be that number. Maybe it'll be 1,000. Maybe they'll be like, oh, actually, I was all right at 150. Maybe, but that's just the number now because, and again, that's. If I'm about impact, obviously I'm going to get very financially well rewarded for that. But you know what I mean? More impact. When I get shit about money, I'm like, well, how many other people do you know that have wrote 3 books and give them all away for free? I don't know anyone that's done that. I don't know any other author that would get shit for giving away a book for free. For some reason, it's just me. Hang on, mate. Why do you need my email address? So I can fucking send you, you idiot. Oh, you need me. Well, so it's free, but it's not free enough. Honestly, what? Oh, it's a scam. It can't be a scam. It's free, you fucking idiot. Do you know, how can you be ripped off? It's free. Well, you need my email. How do you expect me to send you it by a fucking osmosis? I tell you what, I'll send you it via fucking smoke signal.
On the pigeon.
I'll send you the book via carrier pigeon. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll fucking read it to you as well. So, sorry, I went off on a rant there.
No, but on that basis,
the money, right? I get so much shit for money. I'm like, from guys who I'm like, bro, do you work for free? No, I don't. Well, why the fuck would you expect me to work for free?
It's a business.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you? If you don't go to work for free, this is my profession. If you don't want to join my program, cool. Yeah. But guess what? I've got 4 free courses and 3 free books and hundreds of fucking free podcasts and free videos. But if you want to use my professional skills, that's not free. I'm not a fucking charity. But do you know what I mean?
I get that conversation all the time.
I've got all this free stuff. Consume it, but don't call me out for wanting paid for something that I've invested hundreds of thousands of pounds in to improve my skill set and that I've spent fucking 20 odd years honing. I'm not going to do that part for free.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, people don't see that, but it's mad how people go on like they go to work for free.
Yeah. Well, on that basis...
I've just lost me shit there. I lost me shit there. I've been dying to say that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I feel like I'm in fucking therapy.
Chest.
I'm in therapy. Who needs a massage, yeah?
Well, if we can help you then get to that number of people, how do people find you? How do they get to find out a bit more?
The best place to find me, I'll give you 2 places to find me out, right? Audible. Search my name in Audible. You'll find my last book. I think my book's like, sometimes it's free with an Audible membership. That's the best place where you can find out more about my story, the people that I've helped. And the other place is Instagram. I would say Facebook. I've got more followers in there, but Facebook's a fucking cesspit. Stay off. Stay off there. Stay off there. Put your money into Facebook ads, but fucking stay off the rest of the time, because it's like, it's literally, if you want to fight, go on Facebook. If you want to fight with a stranger, go on Facebook. But Instagram, I find more fun. I find it more positive. Maybe I've just curated it that way, but it's like all the old miserable fuckers are on Facebook.
If you need a fight partner, is that where you're going? Facebook?
If you want to spar or get... People are like, why do you keep responding to these trolls? I'm like, because it's actually fun. I'm getting so much content from it. My most viewed video in 6 months was the one where I had people coming up to me and saying nasty things. That trolls, like the trolls in real life video blew up.
That was funny.
But you can go on Facebook, but Instagram and Audible are the 2 best places I recommend. Yeah, cool. And then you can find out about me events that I'm doing this year, me tour that I'm doing. If you're in jail, I'm coming to a jail in Peterborough very soon. So those talks, in the jail, they are the scariest talks that I've done, and but this is weird, by far the most fulfilling talks I've ever done, because there's something different. There's something special about knowing that you are doing something that most people that do what I do wouldn't do, because it's fucking scary. It's very much out of your comfort zone. Nothing ever works. Mic doesn't work. Laptop doesn't work. Projector doesn't work. Lights don't work. Fuck all works. So you've got to be fucking good at what you do, and then you've got blokes who've never seen anyone like you before.
Who are all staring you down.
And the legs always like that, angry as fuck. The last one that I did, this is mad, it was in Birmingham, right? It was in Wolverhampton. I went in. Nobody knew who I was, obviously. It was in a church, and they were all addicts as well as prisoners. Wow. So it was a very difficult gig, but it was fucking incredible by the end. We had them cry. It was mad. But those gigs are someone that's the most fulfilling work I've done. And I don't know why, because I've done a lot. Like, my career highlight would have been the tiny theatre with 1,000 people, all my family and friends there who do. Most of my friends still don't even know what it is that I do. And they were all there and they were blown away. That was a highlight. But then when I went in the jail, it was just different buttons that got pressed inside of us, and I don't even know what they are. I was just like, wow, that filled me heart up so much. It was mad. People kicking off on that, man. People kicking off in the middle of a talk. It's mad. That tests you. That tests all of your skills. That all tests you, all your skills. People kicking off. Shit, the fucking eyes. Wow. But they're the ones that test you. But that's where you get. So speaking in a fucking hotel conference room, that's like easy compared to doing that. It's mad. It's mad.
Well, Paul, thank you.
Well, I've had a great time. Thank you. I feel like I've been in therapy with 2 old friends. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul, for your time.
Thank you. Wonderful.